simple things they don't get. Simple things they can't get. You give them a roundabout, you know, you got to take them through one by one and say, this is how you use it. This is how you use it. You know, take a day with the Guyana police force, take a day with somebody. The police force does the most on the road.
That's the country we live in, regretfully.
I'm so upset about it.
And sadly, that's the country we live in. Regretfully. Folks, I think
I'm going to be uploading that photo.
We're through now on YouTube, and we're happy to have those of you who are on YouTube join us. And our YouTube channel is a tremendously important channel. We're so glad that I have pointed that out for us, as we don't want to disappoint. We don't want to disappoint those folks who tune into us via YouTube. If you're just joining us on YouTube, welcome.
Margaret is saying that the time change is really messing them up in the morning there right now. It's because we're starting at their 7 o'clock.
Oh wow!
So it's really messing them up.
Wow! Apologies.
We didn't mean that.
Yeah.
Come on.
Trying to make the best of it. Trying to make the best of it, folks. Trying to make the best of it. Good to have each and every one of you with us, guys. Good to have you. Smash that emoji button. See, lots of you tune in, but the emoji is looking a little thin to me. I don't know about you. But that being said, we're following again this pedestrian death. Imtiaz Ishaq from was trying to cross the road at Agricola. And you know, we all have our parts to play, whether you're a motorist, you're a pedestrian, we all have our parts to play in using caution on the road. You know, I don't know if I feel any safer in a vehicle than I feel standing on the roadside, because it's the wild, wild west. Oh, there's nothing short, right? I was coming around the roundabout. You talk about roundabout. I think it was sometime over the weekend. A guy was just blowing on me. You know, like, where do you go on like on a roundabout? Do you just switch lanes because somebody wants to pass? When I came out,
I want you to drive into the board.
Like, I pull over. It was the one on St. John Road.
Okay.
I pull over and just allow him to pass.
Pull over in the roundabout?
I pull over when I came out.
Okay, I was wondering.
Because I knew that in a hurry. You could take the way.
You know what? I was looking at the police vehicle. I'm like, it was so chaotic. Like, if he was to jam somebody's vehicle, like, who's paying for that?
We're different here.
Who's paying for that? Taxpayers. The other Sonia's gonna pay for it. Who's paying for that?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. That's the whole way in which you gotta look at it, because they can drag the public servant through a whole long list of nonsense. When it comes to who went in the wrong, the police bullying the way through the roundabout, absolute nonsense.
Let's be cautious out there, folks. Let's be cautious out there. And this is something I can support as we talk about what's happening on the roads. Yesterday, Judith can probably tell us more about this. In the National Assembly, they seem to have passed legislation pertaining to driving, and they said they're going to try to institute stricter penalties for delinquent drivers. I mean, we really need to enforce what we have on the books, and if there's need for greater regulation, then let's do that. But we got to curb what's happening on the roads. And I figure it's because we've been talking about it so much here that them guys are now trying to do something about it.
You know, I did notice, and we spoke about it sometime last week. One of the headlines read that the Minister of Home Affairs is eyeing higher fines for persons that are using the roadways delinquently and so forth. But we have to get to a point, and it's always about the enforcement aspect of it. We have laws. Like, let us not pretend that we don't have the laws. We have the laws. The problem is that the law is not being enforced. That's the problem. You know, persons are being stopped on the road, somebody pass a change here, pass a change there, and that's how people get along and get by, basically, when it comes to just doing nonsense on the road. The buses do the most. Like, they're still there. How many times? How is it? This is something crazy, and I always speak about these matters because people's lives are being put at risk. How is it that you stop a bus for speeding? When you stop this bus for speeding, the bus has double the capacity. Like, that's what goes on. And then the next day the bus on the road again. Same driver, same conductor. How is that? How does that even make sense to people?
Very interesting. Warren says it's good to have Warren Figueroa join us. He says it's a cold start of the voting day here in Long Island. Folks, if you don't mind, you can send us your photographs with your little voting badge and stuff. We'll be happy to publish them if we have your permission. Send us those photographs with you voting, and we're going to be publishing them. Please, folks, vote Democratic. Right, vote for the Democratic ticket. Right, don't let me
vote democratically.
Don't let me give Trump a footing. At all. Most a lot of stuff happening internationally, brewing internationally. We want to bring to your attention. Just a couple of them, not a lot. Just a couple of them we want to bring to your attention this morning. Wherever you're joining us from, it's such a privilege to have each and every one of you here. We see over 400 persons are joining us across social media, tuning into our morning program, and we're so grateful. Smash that emoji button for us. We want as many persons to be able to benefit from the program as possible. Margaret Nelson says, I voted since last week. Democrats all the way. Yes. Yeah. Don't be like them boys. Democrat all the way. You know, we saw one of them by the Lefferts Boulevard train station entrance recently. And, you know, it boggles the mind. It boggles the mind how people can vote. How people can vote PPP. That's number one. And then right now, how people can vote Republican. Having a madman like Trump. But you see, PPP, Republican, there's almost no difference there. Almost no difference. We spot one of them. I don't know if the guys have it for us. You know, talking a bundle of stuff by the Lefferts Boulevard train station. You know the area there, Trita? Yeah. Take a look here. Take a listen to the fella.
Hello, you wonderful folks. Hanson Guyanese, abroad, residing overseas in New York here and also internationally. It's a grand rally, as I said, rally, starting tomorrow at Lefferts and Little Guyana Squares, down up Liberty Avenue to Sybil's, ending at Arya Samaj Ground, Saturday, November the 5th at 11 a.m. Come to support the candidate of your choice, Michael Henry, Attorney General candidate. He will be accompanied by three amazing gentlemen. I should say distinguished gentlemen, who will be our guest speakers, Paul Rodriguez, State Comptroller, Paul King, U.S. Congress, Joe Pinion, U.S. Senator. These amazing candidates recognize the support the legitimate elected government and democracy of Guyana, oh beautiful Guyana. Falsehood about racial discrimination, etc. in Guyana, peddled by New York State Attorney General Letitia James and Congressman Hakeem Jeffrey, and not forgetting a questionable individual, Rickford Burke, at the town hall meeting exposed by New York State Attorney General candidate Michael Henry. Please, I want to say shame on you, as per saying to Letitia James, shame on you, Hakeem Jeffrey, shame on you, Rickford Burke. Please come out and vote. Think before you go and vote. Vote wise. When you vote wise and make conscious choice, it's better for progress and development. So remember, Republican elected a candidate means a lot for progress and development for a better and brighter, not only New York State, but also United States, the nationwide, and also internationally. So those of you vote wise Republican.
Yeah. You know, I want to vote with these fellas.
You know, we actually, both Sharon and I, we actually had the opportunity to speak in New York at a real event. You know, we had people in attendance, and it was something that I think that he should take an example from. You know, organize yourself.
But he should be happy.
Get some boots on the ground.
He should be happy that he's in a country where he can actually use a loud hailer.
Yeah, well, that's what I was coming to.
Probably didn't even ever have to ask the police to do that. You know,
not like our colleague.
Yeah, Clarky Amsterdam.
Arrested. You know,
quite sadly
couldn't even use one of those because apparently that's a crime. So that's why they're nicely settled over there and doing the most there. So you know.
Yeah. You should be happy for that. But we're also tracking that day.
I really didn't understand 90% of what he said.
Yeah, good for him. Good, more power to him. Also tracking.
I didn't understand 90%. I'm sorry.
Also tracking that, you know, as Biden approval ratings you're telling us is ebbing. It's ebbing a little bit. The Democrats are bracing for some losses. You know, you don't win everything.
Yeah.
You don't win everything. You got to left a little something for them boys. You got to left a little something for them. We don't win everything. Right, so the Democrats are bracing for some losses, but clearly, you know, not in places like New York.
Definitely not.
See, I'll try that. Try with that. Folks, share the live. Smash the emoji button. Let me go down the road. Right? So yeah.
But you should remember even when Obama was in office, when they went to the midterms and so forth, and then it was that one big event specifically with the Osama bin Laden. That really brought it back home for the Obama administration at that point in time also, because like governance and all of those things, it's a cycle all by itself. So don't for one second think that that whatever is there right now will determine as how it moves forward. I can tell you, and even I can even be clearer when it comes to Guyana and elections, particularly local government elections and all those things that people refuse to clean the list and all of those things for, and a lot of persons are signaling their intention to not participate and to not even be a part of the voting process and all those things because they believe that their vote will not be counted here. So don't for one second think that any results coming out of that election would be an indication of what the elections to come. So I just wanted to put that out there very clearly.
Correct. We got some stuff happening in China, folks. A lot of you kind of have taken a backseat to COVID-19. You all say this thing finished. But guys, it is far from over. And that's why every opportunity we get, we say continue to practice all of the COVID-19 protocols. But I got to stuff that are in place because lots of them have been lifted. But you got to take your own health into your own hands. You got to take your own health into your own hands because them boys ain't thinking about you. They ain't thinking about me. They are for them in China. They're now seeing an outbreak, a widening outbreak in Guangzhou province. Believe it or not. And the Chinese are very, very, this is like an embarrassment for China. It's like how you had January 6th for the American, because they pride themselves on having a good healthcare system and kind of keeping this on the wraps, But they seem not to have a handle on it at all. And we see these sporadic outbreaks, and now it's Guangzhou province there in China. And guys, wherever you're joining us from around the world, continue as far as possible. You sanitize, you social distance from Sonia and them folks. You wear your mask around them, that kind of thing. Ensure you live a long and healthy life. You got to avoid some situations and some people.
Today's racism Tuesday or something.
Bring it out strong.
No, I want to know.
It's how you wake up in a certain space.
It's like racism Tuesday or something.
So you wake up in a certain space. Right. And you decide to go and attempt to do violence.
No, you did say Sony came in with a comment about the Hungry Belly. I'm seeing Leon comment. I want to racism Tuesday.
Leon is here. Folks, Leon is here. Let's give Leon a cyber hug.
No. If any cyber anything I want to give Leon is more, it's not a cyber hug. I choose violence. I choose violence today.
You do choose violence.
I choose violence.
I stay in my zone. In a pyramid of peace. I
chose violence. No, I have zero tolerance to racism. Anybody who's racist comments. No, I come from. You have to understand that I come from a background where my father is 100% indigenous, right? So when it comes to racist slurs and those things, I grew up having to deal with that. So I have zero tolerance to anybody that actually goes along racist lines. So I don't know if it's racism Tuesday or something like that. Yeah. You understand that you have people that are just blatantly stupid.
You understand that,
right?
Leon and Sonia and Lacho, they're being paid as trolls and they have a script. So they go, they compare notes back in the office that they're sitting right now and say, this is the line of attack this morning.
Racism Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Racism Tuesday. Yeah. But while that's happening, folks, Racism Tuesday, we can continue to do what we gotta do.
I still choose violence.
That's why I said throw the whole chair in the chest, Leon's chest.
Meet me from Starbucks Market.
Yeah. And
on the clock. 12, sharp.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Throw a chair in the chest. Yeah. But good to see you, Margaret Nelson and Carol Hudson, Julian Mars. It's not really important folks who are here. We call some name of real folks who come out and support us positively. Prince, and the other folks.
It was George Bush that said his father told him, right? He said he went to school and some boy was picking on him, like beating him up or whatever. I think it was one of the Bushes. And he said his father told him that to fold your fist and punch him in the face. You have to stand up for yourself. At some point in time, you have to stand up for yourself, right? I chose violence this morning. Anybody that is racist. And so, Starbucks Market, 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I'm going to take a picture.
Please, we want video too. We want video as well.
They don't get to come and spew nonsense.
Correct as
well.
Don't
do it. Let's move
Correct
forward.
as well. Yeah, yeah.
And then
Good,
we'll
good
get
to
back
see.
to
Good
that.
to see. Gwyneth is here, and Ravi Derup is here as well. Anna Gordon, the important folks. Beatrice Selby is here too. Jolly Anderson Linton, and all the other guys who are joining us. We're such a privilege to get you peace-loving, good-natured, not racist folks to join us this morning. Good to have you guys.
Can't be racist in a country in which we're so integrated, you know?
Correct,
like
right.
the bloodline is so integrated, so mixed
correct,
up and
correct,
all
right.
that.
Lots of stuff, folks, happening. Regionally, we want to bring a couple to you. Now, we've been telling you about some of the situations we have occurring. They're counting their losses in Dominica. You know, they have an election coming up on the 6th of December. And now, you know, 6 dead. We were telling you about the rains in St. Lucia, Dominica, and some of the other places. They're 6 dead after heavy rain. You know, God has been good to us, even though we got this cross truth of an administration. But even with 2 bouts of national flooding, you know, lives were spared. And in spite of the shortcoming of these folks, in spite of them, Yolanda Chalmers, in spite of them, you know, but 6 dead in Dominica. We want to say our thoughts and prayers go to our Dominican brothers and sisters. Our thoughts and prayers go out to them. Yeah, can't believe it.
The photos that are coming out, it shows the devastation there that persons are facing, and I have to say, like, with all of this, I think that date should at the very least be adjusted. I don't know, like, that is not my place to even make that suggestion, but I do believe with everything that's happening there right now, it's so devastating that that December 6th seems to be a little too close when it comes to actually wanting a turnout at the polls to make sure that count is done. I don't.
And with some of the devastation that we're seeing there in Dominica and some other places, you know, it's quite interesting. I think it's the end, you know. You gotta keep your affairs in order because you just don't know. Some other stuff happening, guys, around the region. We think you ought to know about. Some other stuff brewing. What are you guys having for breakfast, by the way? And what's happening in some of the morning papers where you folks are? Sherwin Morris, good to see you. The guys are gonna come back to us. I hope they do. Michaela Andrews and Winella Garnett. Good to have you. Maureen Williams and Elizabeth Simon. I see Alfred Parts too. Alfred Parts. Wow. Yeah. So we got that happening, guys. And we also have in Haiti, good news to report in Haiti. Remember, they had blockaded some of the gas stations and so on. Barbecue had blockaded some of the gas stations. This is the gang leader there in Haiti. It's known as Barbecue. Well, you're saying that blockade has been lifted, a blockade. And well, I don't think he wants some special forces going there to knock in some of the boys out. So they've lifted the blockade there, and things seem to be normalizing. We can keep a hand on this because you all know, in any place, things in Haiti can go from 0 to 60
the
real
headline
fast.
says a lot. The headline just speaks volume. It says Haiti gang leader says fuel distribution can resume as blockade ends. This is not the government, the administration, the authorities. The gang leader is saying that I'm in control of this thing. I'm always blockading, because the distribution of fuel can resume. There has some serious issues there.
And while he's saying that, while Barbecue is saying that, Margaret Nelson is having blueberries, pear, and orange for breakfast. Oh my. Anna Gordon is having bacon stew liver for breakfast. Wow. And hot coffee. Oh, Jesus. You take a little more fancy there.
Good morning, Anna.
Why is we talking, man? Anna and Margaret. Why are we talking so early? Oh my. Beef and stew liver.
Good Lord.
All the things breakfast are made of. When the 592, good folks. When the 592, and quite a few things bring at this end as well. Like the guys saying like the 592, they take it up quick. They like the 592 too much. They like that. When the 592, folks. When the 592.
You make it look so nice.
Everybody else think was right get on the ground.
Gold plated.
Starbucks market right behind you. Get to
garden. You're a little,
get to the ground there. It's more little gobbles. Go bells. Lots of things happen in the ground here too, folks. And we told you about this other pandemic that we have. This domestic violence and personal violence against women and girls, but Oma Devi, very sadly lost her life yesterday because the words I really want to describe this guy as, it's too early in the morning. I'll get in Lacho and Leon and what's her name, Space with that. I want chopped her to death. She's succumbed.
All right, so
sorry, let me clear it up. She chopped her to death and she succumbed. He chopped her to death.
You know, a lot of times that we have these discussions, but we missed. I think all right, let me rephrase that. We have been having these conversations so many times that I believe the gravity
Yeah.
of it
We
is
become
is
numb to it.
evading us.
We become
Correct.
numb
We
to it. We deal
become
with it every day.
numb
Yeah.
to it because
Yeah.
so many times you come here, we have to report on another woman losing her life to domestic violence,
Yep.
and the situations they all have overlapping similarities. Basically, they have, and this particular story. Let me just say, I read it. I mean, I had to take my time and read it, put it down, come back, put it down, come back again. Because the report, as it says, it's something that I always tell people about, and I always say that there are warning signs when it comes to abusive relationships. And one of the key warning sign is that an abuser isolates his victim. And that is just there, at no point in time should you not be able to contact your relative. At no point in time should your relative not be able to visit you because the man they're with don't want them to visit you, or don't want them to be mixing with their family and friends all together. When I read the story, the family was saying, particularly her uncle was saying, that she did not even get to come to her own mother's funeral, right? And since then, they haven't heard anything from her, that she was completely isolated from her relatives, And then his relative, I think that there were two children in the house. I believe a 2-year-old and a 17-year-old. I'm not sure if they were home at the time, but I got the impression that they were. But his father, and I just want to just bring it, as the reports are suggesting right about now, is that his father was the father said that the mother woke him up and said he called like probably around 4 a.m. and say that tell them that the girl needs to go to the hospital because she has a cut on her hands, and that where the beds are located in the house, like she was moving something, some netting or something, and there was a cutlass between it, and she fall on the cutlass.
It sounds like the pirate story.
Right. So when his parents got to the house to actually take her there, or the father, I'm not sure if both of them went, he saw her body motionless on the bed there, and he immediately took his son to the Wimmer police station, But he said something that was that I always speak about. He said he has an anger issue. For a long time, he has an anger problem. How, as a father, you have to take your son there
The anger issues.
to the police station for murdering his wife,
Yeah.
But I read it and I said, like, we have to, like, society, family and all, we have to take stock of certain things, because they're always like blatant warning signs, like the red flags are so visible. If someone is isolated, if you have a relative that you know is in a relationship that you think is not good, and suddenly you try to contact them, that you can't go, but and they're just, the person that they're with is isolating them, that is a level of danger that is life threatening. When an abuser isolates his victim like that, it's life-threatening, and it's just a matter of time before he snaps, and for that situation to get to the point it was there. It's absolutely crazy. We have to be more on the ball, It's crazy, but right about now, and I did read something, I'm not sure, I haven't been able to ascertain this information, but I did read on one of the online reporting sites that the 17-year-old son was also taken into police custody. And I think that was absurd. Like, I think that was the most craziest thing I've ever heard. Because if that is the case, that would be crazy, because you just went through all of that trauma, and then you were there. You're supposed to be sitting with a psychologist at the very least, So we have serious issues to deal with, and I think that this is a very sad story. I have to say my sincere condolences, particularly to those to the children, that has to grow up without that mother figure, and we have to do better as a society.
Definitely so.
Out, you share that anger issues. Tell people, like, don't mix with them, like, leave them alone, leave them by themselves. They're just pure evil. Let them be treated as pure evil.
Correct.
Sad story.
That being said, we have a visitor. We have the U.S. Consular of Affairs official, U.S. Consular Affairs officials, Rena Bitters, who's visiting, and they've been talking. She's been talking locally about visa matters. Visa matters. I can thing of that. And adoptions, after a story like that, like I want to be adopted. First vote in this place. Is it late in my life to be adopted? I mean, like, first vote in this place. And we say, welcome to Rena Bitters, the official there who in charge of U.S. Consular Affairs Deputy, who's in charge there. And may it stay be fruitful. May your stay be fruitful. Julie, you can make better sense of this one because yesterday we saw Jonathan here would understand. And Jonathan's story,
no, but let me just push in a comment with when it comes to the adoption part of it, with the visit there, and I want to say that when it comes to that particular issue, we have to monitor the adoption aspect of it very, very carefully because we know that when it comes to persons, particularly from lesser developed countries, in the way in which adoptions are handled with more developed countries, there are a lot of times that there are issues that we don't want to get ourselves involved in. Let me just start it off at that point. We know that we have this is a developing country as it is right about now. We have resources that should be pushing us, propelling us to a different level. But I want us to be very careful with those aspects of things that we look at, particularly when it comes to adoptions. I will be looking into that very carefully.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Those of you who have tuned in, please share the live for us. Smash that emoji button as well, Juliet Mickle and all you folks joining us, John Jones, Gwen Anderson. Good to have you, Yolanda Thomas. All you folks who are joining us, we're so privileged. Share the live for us. And please be sure, smash that emoji button. Share that live. That being said, Jonathan here, we took the stand yesterday at the Commission of Inquiry. The Commission of Inquiry. And, he had some stuff to say that didn't add up to me, didn't add up, and I'm certain you can make better sense of it. The guys are going to run it. Take a listen. Jonathan, you will understand. Presidential Commission of Inquiry.
Now, you speak about the verification process. What is that?
Well, GCOM staff were supposed to use the SOPs to call out the votes assigned to each political party.
And let's get some things clarified. When you say GCOM, what are you referring to?
GCOM staff, the returning officer for GCOM.
What does GCOM stand for?
Guyana Elections Commission.
And you said that they were supposed to be calling numbers from the SOPs. What do you mean by that?
The SOPs are what at the end of an election, these are the tabulated votes done at each polling station. A copy is sent to the returning officer for that area. The party agents and counting agents for the political parties all gather at one location, and these numbers are then called out statement of poll by statement of poll.
Right. So
to be verified.
SOP means statement of polls.
Yes.
So when you sat down in the building, what took place after the GCOM employees entered?
Well, they started to do they started to go through their process, which was to call out the numbers on the statements of poll in chronological order. And we started at 4,001.
And what were party agents doing as these numbers were called out by GCOM staff?
We were verifying that the numbers that they had called out were actually the correct numbers that we had recorded in our own systems.
Yes.
Yep.
I think that all right, so let me just explain it really quickly as fast as I possibly can. At the 2020 elections, and Jonathan Earwood, he represented ANOG. I don't think he's associated with ANOG anymore. I think he is being referred to as ex-ANOG member. A lot of people think politics is easy, They come in and then they have to go. But he represented ANOG. Now, at the last election, for example, the number of ballot boxes, like it was 2,339, if I believe that's the correct number. Yes, it has to be 2,339 ballot boxes. So basically, any political party that's actually contesting the election should be put in, as their oversight to that verification process that he's talking about. You would have to have 2,339 agents out there, one per box. You understand? That's how the system is set up. Now, in total, for the entire election, Anna got 2,313 votes, right? So definitely know that ANOC did not have 2,339 persons out there actually watching, unless they had people that didn't vote for them. That would be a different level, right? My point is, and let me just say that the small parties did not have the capacity. They had a handful of people that they actually sent out there to the various polling stations and region number. Well, they according to GCOM basically refers that as district number 4. And that is the one particularly that they are talking about there. I think district number 4 is like 879 ballot boxes. I mean, they'll tell you, Anna did not send representative to 879 places, polling stations to actually witness that. So when Jonathan was speaking, like that was my question, and I think that we have a problem with the entire commission, because they have the persons that are asking the questions, they don't even understand the system, and that's the main problem we have. Because the first question, the only question that should be relevant there is that yes, he's talking about verification about what GCOM is called now as opposed to what he have, but where did you get your information from? Did you have agents in all of these stations to actually get information and give it to you? Because that would be a resounding no. I did not have agents in the polling stations to get all this information. I did have, as a woman said, a smattering of agents there. So for the ones that they did not have, where are you getting this from? Where are you getting this information from? That is the key question that needed to be asked. So I think that we have a very serious situation in which the persons that are actually the commissioners there don't understand the system. If you don't understand the system, then you obviously won't be able to ask relevant questions, because that would throw all that he's saying out the door. Because if you're saying the numbers are not correct as against what, and where did you get this information from? You're saying all of these people are saying the same thing. All of these people will be saying the same thing if one of these people distributed our records to all of you. So that is the system that is being there. So we have to understand the dynamics of what is going on. And I say this all the time. I see all the comments back and forth, and I'm proud of Guyanese, because when persons go on there, everybody else have one opinion, that the system is flawed and it needs to be corrected. I mean, there's a few crazy people that would not say that, but everybody, the general consensus, the overwhelming consensus is that the system is flawed and it needs fixing. It needs adjustment. We need to get to the point that we have a real strong democratic system in place, that your vote is counted after you go into the polling station and not before you even enter it, right? So that is the bottom line.
That is the bottom line indeed. And as we move on to the big issue, we're looking at the PPP and the art of disinformation, because them boys good at that. And we saw it on full display quite recently, the PPP and the art of disinformation. You could see the truth watching your playlist, and them boys still telling you it's something else. It's now you're seeing and perceiving with your own eyes and your senses. It is something else. It's things and body, right? Things and body. We saw it on display. Mr. Aubrey Norton, leader of the opposition, leader of the People's National Congress Reform, had an outreach in Mako over the weekend. Now, Kwame came out to say, you had one, reporters, cameramen who were abused, and two, nobody's interested in Mr. Norton rallies. Nobody goes out to them. But when you see what happened, it seems to be totally contrary. Folks, your boy Kwame, take a look, take a listen. Your boy Kwame.
We must all condemn the attacks on the cameramen of NCN that occurred yesterday afternoon in Maka, where the APNU AFC MP tried to bully them out of the area as they went there to record a public meeting by APNU AFC. This type of behavior must not be condoned. We've seen it in the past. We have seen the attempts by Norton and his cabal to bully the media and to intimidate them, even at press conferences. We've seen their avoidance of the media in government. Now in opposition, we would like to believe that they would like the absence of the media on these public outreaches because it would highlight and demonstrate the poor leadership, one, and secondly, the following, which is no significant amount of persons at their public meetings and in gatherings where the leader of the opposition himself and others are. But this is serious enough to attract the condemnation of all civic-minded Guyanese, the Press Association, and everyone who believe in the right and the freedom of the press. We must not allow this behavior by the APNU, AFC, or any group trying to intimidate and to bully the press and for their own selfish reasons. We look forward to the police taking action in this matter, and we offer our words of encouragement to those cameramen who stood up despite the attempt to intimidate them and to make them feel unwanted at a public event.
Yeah, yeah. Kwame, we called for you. A whole minister in the government.
No, but what he's speaking about is something that has to go answered, and I know that the office of the
coming back to it.
I know the office of the leader of the opposition already responded to that, but I'm going to give my own response to that. Is that if there is one thing that we should be embarrassed as a country, and one thing that we should all stand up against, is the fact that the government officials, and particularly that individual that was speaking there moments ago, weaponize the media. They weaponize DPI, they weaponize Chronicle, they weaponize NCN, right? And it should be considered a crime for them to be utilizing, forcing the cameramen to go and do political missions on their behalf, on state resources. Let me just start from that standpoint.
Which basically is to monitor what's happening, because you seldom see anything on the DPI concerning the opposition.
No, sure. Don't use those nice words. Don't use those nice words. It's not about monitoring anything. He is sending the persons out there to see where he could cut and scrape and say, oh, look, we got the video here. Somebody didn't show up. You know, this person stole it. This person sound a little vexed. He's weaponizing the staff. He is using the staff as ammunition. It is not acceptable. It is not acceptable at any point in time. You do not get to do that. Not because those persons are depending on you for a salary at the end of the day. You're going to take them and shy them all over the place. Right? And that is what they're doing with those staff. And I can tell you, they have some really good staff at NCN, at DPI, at the Chronicle. And they deserve better.
What I found to be very hypocritical, this is Kwame, who was convicted of assaults. Is a convict speaking about assaulting people, right? And had his own part to play in the assault of then journalist Freddie Kissoon, who had fecal matter thrown in his face. So I find it it's like it's the same person. It's Kwame McCoy, who was allegedly implicated in that matter. It's the same person talking about, having respect for journalists. The same person.
This is the same man, and I would remind you people right about now, this is the same individual, right? You remember last December, particularly when we had all of the disagreements at the level of parliament and all of that, the opposition parliamentarians, not ordinary persons just running around to say, oh, we want to interview here. The opposition parliamentarian approached the staff there. It was from either DPI or NCN to do interviews, and the staff said they could not do it because they don't have permission to take interviews from the parliamentarians of the opposition side of the. So don't come now to trying to say that it is objectivity and all of those things.
And so on. So much for that. So much for that, guys. And Mr. Norton did speak at Mocha, that meeting we had, that public meeting we had there, and these were some of his thoughts, some of his comments.
My friends, one of the first things I want you to recognize is that we didn't fetch and bring anybody here. Everybody here is from Mocha. That is important. Now, we are operating in serious times. When Irfan Ali comes to say he likes the people of Mocha, there are some things we should explain. First, the ancestral lands at the back belong to the people of Mocha. When you send your housing minister, to tell them you want 2,500 feet from the road, and so they have to move, that is not one Guyana, that is being wicked. Now, and let's assume they were guided by common sense. How do you explain coming all the way from South Rheinveld, right into Mocha? You allow businesses and people to be on the road right there. You don't ask for 50 feet. You don't ask for 10 feet. You put them there. But when it comes to the road passing an African Guyanese village, you want 2,500 feet. Tell them it will not happen. These are our people's ancestral lands, and it must go to the people of Mocha. And when the idiot comes to tell you you are squatting, tell him you don't squat on your own property. You cannot squat on what is your own. It is your land, and therefore you must occupy it. And if anybody is to be invited, you must determine who will be invited, and it is not the wicked PPP government. The only role they must play is as government. They should put electricity, water, drainage, and irrigation so that they can facilitate economic activity, including agriculture. That is their role. But you know, they're covetous. They just believe that only the rich people around them must benefit. And I'm glad the Minister of Home Affairs sent the cameras. Record. But I want those that see who murder who, those are the cameras that should be working. In this country, when a murder occurs and it's ordinary poor people, everything working. Soon as the big boys, it stop work. Typical Jack Dale Sue approach.
Yeah. So folks, you had a whole minister there. Just tell us, at this Mocha meeting, nobody didn't go out to listen to Norton. Nobody went. And how the media was so abused, by Norton and crew. I can't find that. I saw a lot of people there. I don't know, like, probably need less lip and more glasses.
Listen, I don't have no patience for Kwame McCoy and his sentiments. You understand? You do not get to use state resources and people to that level. It's just unacceptable. But I think that the point they're made by the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, is excellent, and it needed to be said. It needed to be said, all of what he said there. He spoke about the Minister of Home Affairs there sending on Cameron. I did recall, and I think we spoke about this at some point in time. Whenever there's protests, whenever the opposition have a protest, permission given for protest, and you go and you lie in the street, persons from the police force come out there, some in plain clothes, some in uniform, and take pictures of every single protester that is there. That's what they do. So when they're taking my picture, I take theirs, because that's the only fair thing for me, because I don't see why you can have my photo and I can't have yours. Correct. So I just usually just take a picture. If somebody comes to take my picture, I willingly let them take my photo, but then I take theirs as well, because we can have each other's photos.
Yeah.
Like, since we're gonna be like collecting items.
Take that for your fastness.
Right? So because we cannot live in a country in which persons are intimidating you to that extent.
Yeah, but it's just the blatant lies, the disinformation, because any member of the public viewing that video can discern. There are people there. It's a good rally. Norton is in fine form. You know, but look at the whole minister trying to articulate 2 sentences, picking corn.
Because they believe, and the problem that they're having, and you have to understand their issue. Their issue is that they believed it was all signed, sealed, and delivered, that Irfan Ali went in to Mock and he had a meeting and persons were there, so they got this lock. You're right. That is where I don't understand who is telling them, but I always.
But this law would what? Giving back to Guyanese what is rightfully theirs?
Cheryl,
what tax-based money should afford, because you give road is you Freedom House giving road.
But I tell people all the time, when the AP and UFC was in office, there was no place that they went that the people did not show up, because when you're in government, when you occupy the seat of the decision makers, people go there because they expect you to make decisions.
Which is
right?
which is something. For instance, Sonia Parag and Sanjeev Datadin finding out the hard way. Now Sonia goes to distribute house land lots and so on, right? And lots of people show up.
Yeah, and they feel excited.
They think it's me. And
people
then she goes
for house lots.
She goes to host a television program and they got 10 people watching, because you're sharing out titles.
People and they have to understand that. So that is the problem. Now they have to battle with the reality that, oh my gosh, this is not signed, sealed, and delivered. Not because we sent in here fan and the people showed up to hear what he had to say. This is signed, and particularly the way in which he spoke to the local representative there. I don't think he expected that to go over as, oh my gosh, he's so big and bad, and people supposed to be humble. It is resentful the way in which he addressed the elected official there at the level of the local democratic organ, and we are not going to be accepting it. The people showed up.
You said it best. They went there not for the content of the speech, because you can see a minute of it on DPI. As a matter of fact, we showed the entire statement given by Kwame. You wouldn't see any statement for Aubrey Norton or any MP featuring on DPI or in Chronicle or anything like that. We featured the entire statement here, giving them free PR. But Jurita said it. They went to see what bus bring people.
No.
How much people come.
But that's not alone.
That.
There's a main thing that they went for, and you'll forgive me because this is my opinion, and I love to just put things out in my person, because the only way I see it, as they went there to see who was there, who showed up. Oh, you're telling me you got we back, but then you're showing up at the people meeting, because these are the people. This is who they are. This is what they represent. That's why I even mentioned the police taking pictures of the protesters. They want to know who is going to these meetings, so they can sideline, they can discriminate against, and all of those things, right? Because they want to, who's this one and who's that one? I know these people. I know these people.
Looking for government staff and so on.
Okay.
Anybody working in the ministry got onto the meeting and so on.
Let me tell you something, for the DPI and the NCN staff, like I said, they're phenomenal folks. A lot of good people working there. If you're being asked to do things, a lot of good people are fired too. Good point. If you were doing something that you don't think is morally correct, there are several ways to go around it. You call in sick. You don't go do it. Don't let nobody force you to do something like that. It's crazy. You should not be subjected to a job that is forcing you to do something that you don't necessarily want to go out there and get done. It's unfair. It's unfortunate, and I think that you deserve better. Definitely at the level of the person that you fall under in government. Anyone that falls under Kwame deserves better. Anyone that falls under him. So I empathize with the fact you have to deal with that on a daily basis.
Imagine that.
That's all for me.
That's what we're doing for us. So listen, folks. Encourage you guys. It's anniversary month. Partner with us.
Yes.
Smash that emoji button. I see y'all pick up with the emojis, folks. You pick up on the emojis. Good for you. Smash it again if you haven't. Smash it if you haven't done so, folks. And share the live as well. We want as many persons to get valid, credible information. Those of you who are joining us on YouTube, our apologies. We went through a little later YouTube. We can blame the new guy. Outside of that, we're so grateful to have you folks here with us. We're going to see you guys right back at 12 below the belt. But for now, let's sit for us at this end. We're available via Cash App and PayPal and Zelle and MMG, MoneyGram, Western Union. 627-6963 is the number you want to call if you have any queries. Folks, this thing don't mind we. It's to keep this program going. Valid, credible information at your fingertips. That's all for us at this end. At least from me too.
That's all, folks.
Have a great rest of the day. See you guys back at 12. Stay safe. you.